Hello, everyone. This is Dave from Dave's Recent Things. All right, we are all done with my first Hallo-week series. How did you guys enjoy it? Did you like it? Did you want more in the future? Leave me a comment down below and let me know which one was your favorite. Today is a bonus day, so we've had 7 days, 7 wreaths for our Halloweek series, and today is technically day number 8 or a bonus episode. Today I'm going to create a burlap wreath for Halloween using some burlap and some wired ribbon. Let's just get to it. Let's get started. Welcome to Halloweek. We are off, and today I'm using the 14-inch wire wreath frame from the Dollar Tree. And the burlap that I'm using today is from the Dollarama in this orange color, and I have a deep purple color as well. Some 6-inch cable ties I'm going to be using today, a pipe cleaner, and this beautiful ribbon that I got from Lake Country Treasures. Now, I always advise this whenever you're working with burlap, and I always do, wear a mask. And we're going to start with our wire wreath frame, our burlap, and our ribbon as well. And what I'm doing is I'm just unrolling them to give me some room, and I'm laying them on top of each other. So I've got the purple below, the orange on top, and then I've got the ribbon there. And to start it all off, I'm going to squish the ends together, and then I'm going to anchor it to our wreath frame. So I'm using the 2 inner wires plus the anchor wire, the crossbar, and then I'm wrapping the cable tie around everything. So that includes the bars, the cross wire, and all of my burlap and ribbon. And I'm just going to give it a really good pull to make sure it's all nice and tight, cut off the excess, and that is going to be our anchor for this ribbon. And before I really start, I'm just going to test out to see how long I want my little bubbles to be on my wreath. So once I get a size that I like, I put down my ruler, and unfortunately you can't really see this ruler, but it is 7 inches, though I'm going to be using 7-inch lengths for my bubbles. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to squish it all together, and then I'm going to use that second to the end wire. So that's the second wire from the outside. And then I'm going to use my cable ties to wrap the wire and wrap the burlap and the ribbon all around. I'm going to flip it over, and then I'm going to feed that cable tie, and I'm going to pull it nice and tight. And that's going to create our first bubble for our Halloween bubble wreath. And again, just chopping off that excess as I go, and you can see the start of our first bubble already. And then I'm just going to grab some more excess. This time I'm just going to eyeball it. It's about the 7-inch mark. And then this time I'm actually going to attach the bubble to the second inside wire. So it's the same method as we did the first time around. I'm just using a different wire to attach my bubble to. And again, we just flip it over, secure that cable tie, make sure it's nice and tight, and then once you have it nice and tight, you can cut that excess off. And now we're on a roll. There is our second bubble created, and I'm just going to continue with that same process over and over again. If you want, you can totally measure every single bubble that you're going to create. I just eyeball it just to make sure. And then towards the end, I do end up using the ruler as well. So I'm going from the second outside wire to the inside wire all the way around. And you can see here I'm actually using the ruler now. I just wanted to make sure that my bubbles were all the same lengths and the same size. And as I come to the end, I'm putting my last cable tie on there, flipping that wreath frame over, and then I'm just going to attach on there. And then I'm just going to cut that excess off. I'm going to push it through the back so it's kind of hidden and you don't see it at the front. Flip it over. And then what I'm doing is I'm kind of separating the purple and the orange burlap a little bit, and I'm alternating it. So for one, the purple's on the inside. For the next one, the purple's on the outside, and so on and so forth all the way around the wreath. And once I've got it all done, look how beautiful this looks. It's nice and bright and colorful. I just love it for the Halloween season. Look at that ribbon. It's nice and glittery. And of course, you can see all the glitter on my desk. Now I'm going to work on my bow, and I'm going to cut my ribbon at 24-inch lengths. So what I'm going to be doing is cutting a total of 4 of them at 24, and then this small one at 8 inches. So again, we have 4 at the 24-inch and 1 at the 8-inch mark. 3 of them will be for the bow. 1 of the 24 inches will be for the tail, and the middle one, or the smallest one, will be for our loop in the middle. And to create my loops, I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm just going to use a little bit of hot glue, and then I'm just going to create my first loop. And this is going to be the one in the center. And I'm just going to make sure that's nice and glued together so it's not going to go anywhere. And I'm going to do the same thing for 3 of the 4 24-inch ones as well. I'm just going to use my hot glue to create loops, and I'm going to create 3 loops in total at that 24-inch mark. Just using the hot glue and placing it all on there and gluing it together. The 4th and final 24-inch piece I'm going to use as the tail, so I'm going to dovetail it. All you're going to do is fold it in half with the good side facing out, angle your scissors, and give it a good cut to create those dovetails. In creating my bow, I'm going to start with the seam side down, so the good side's facing up, and then I'm just going to crisscross the first 2. Same thing, seam side down, good side facing up. So what you end up with is crosshairs in the middle and 1 straight ribbon. So you've got the crosshairs in the middle, the 1 straight one right there, and that's going to create our bow along with that little loop right in the center there. Then you can just squish the center together, and there's a lot of fabric there, so it's a little bit hard, but you can do it. I'm going to squish it together with my fingers. I'm going to grab that pipe cleaner, feed it right through that center loop, and then I'm going to reach inside, and then I'm going to wrap that pipe cleaner around the center where I'm squishing the ribbons together. Give it a couple of good twists because you don't want that bow to go anywhere. And then I'm just going to face it down along with that last and final piece. Fold it in half to find your center. Squish the ribbon together. And then since it's a wired ribbon, I'm going to fold it down how I want it to lay when it's on my ribbon. And then I'm going to place that in between the 2 pipe cleaners and give it a couple of really good twists to create our tails for this bow. And once you're done with that, we can actually bring in our wreath because it's time to attach that bow to our wreath. And in deciding where I wanted to put the bow, I normally put my bows on the left-hand side for some reason. But today I wanted something different, so I thought, do I put it at the right side? Do I put it at the bottom? Do I always go with the left, or do I put it at the top? Where do you guys like to put your bows? Let me know in the comments down below. What I decided to do was actually place it at the bottom. I just thought, you know what? Let's do something a little bit different than what I normally do. And I thought, that would be perfect placement for this wreath. All the ribbon all the way around and then kind of meeting right at the bottom. So all I do is I feed those 2 pipe cleaners through the wire, and I'm going to make sure I have the 2 inside wires right there, those 2 inside wires in between my 2 pipe cleaners, and then I'm going to give it a couple of really good twists to secure that bow right there. Then I'm going to flip it over, and let's start fluffing up that bow, making it nice and pretty and fluffy. And what I'm going to do with the tails is I'm going to crimp them a little bit. So all you do is you just take your fingers and you press it together. And since it's a wired ribbon, it holds its shape. And it's a little something different for your tails. Adds a little pizzazz, adds a little interest on those tails as well. And there, our bow is all complete and all attached to our wreath. Look at that. orange and purple and green and black and orange sparkles all over the place, even on my desk. There is our final wreath in its glory. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope you enjoyed Hallo-week. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it, and for joining me during my first Hallo-week. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye for now.